Here we fucking go.
What's up, everybody? We're playing Warzone today. It's happening. We're trying to... I've been, like, grinding for this last little bit to get this guy. I was super stoked when I got Laura Bailey. But I don't, I don't have anything else. So we're gonna kick on one of these double XP. Fuck it. We'll go for an hour. I don't have that many left. And... so there's two ways we could go about it. We could play solos. Yeah, fuck it. Let's just jump in and fuck some shit up and plunder. Just go by ourselves. We don't need no fucking squad. We don't need no motherfucking squad. I don't need no squad cut. No, I don't need no squad cut. Oh, man. I want a soundbite of Post Malone saying that. I don't need no squad cut. He's just got that, like, I don't know, something about Post Malone's, like, just natural speaking voice. I love it. I don't know what it is, if it's just the register he hits, or if the way he inflects certain things, but I am about it. I had a shower beer last night. Oh, God. I need a drink. Choking to death. Anyway, I had a shower beer last night. And for any of you who don't know what a shower beer is, if you've ever had a day where it's like, not necessarily a long day, but a day where you're like, a shower sounds really nice, but like, also sounds boring. And like, yeah, we could, oh my god, I'm coming through I have my headphones on and my sound's coming through my speakers. I'm an idiot. Anyway, so a shower beer, you just get yourself a nice cold beer. I prefer a lighter beer. But you could even go with maybe like a light lager or something, Doesn't have to, just something that's not, you don't want to take a Guinness in there with you. Just something light. My personal favorite is a Corona Extra. No lime, please. But yeah, you just take yourself a nice hot shower and you take that cold beer in there with you. It's fucking dope, dude. It tastes so good. Oh, and it gets like real sweaty in there, like the bottle does. And so like, if you're one of those weirdos that likes to peel things like I am, like you can peel the label off, really satisfying. Except for Corona. Without Corona bottles, you can't do it. It's only if it's got like a paper label. Corona bottles, I think those are just like, it might be a plastic coating shrunk onto them, but they very well might just have like a graphic that sticks to the bottles. I don't know. Those shits probably aren't even like recyclable because of it. Alright, whose day we gonna fuck up first? Where do we want to go? There goes a team, there goes a team. We could probably like bother people at peak. How the fuck? I shot the shit out of him. I'm pissed. You guys ever think about like Darth Vader? And like, it's pretty fucked up. So like, his suit was designed by Palpatine, obviously, and like, because Palpatine was like preying on Anakin's power from his like anger and his pain, he designed the suit so that way Anakin was in more pain inside the suit, and so Vader was like, whatever. So Vader was in pain and more like attached to his power, I guess. I don't know, like more readily available, even though he was already like, I argue, I'm one of the people that thinks that like Anakin was destined to go to the dark side. If not Anakin, some other powerful Jedi. A lot of people are, think that like, oh, if Qui-Gon had trained him, it would have been fine. Like he would have turned out okay. But I don't think so. I don't think that Qui-Gon understood like green block. I don't think Qui-Gon fully understood the dark that was inside Anakin. Like, yeah, Qui-Gon was like a lot more like loose cannon, using the mind tricks pretty willy-nilly and all that kind of shit. And like, he was pretty reckless. Like he was like, nah, Force has got my back, whatever, and then he would go do dumb shit. But what doesn't work for me, as for like Qui-Gon to have trained Anakin, was it's the simple fact that like Anakin was just rebellious. No matter what it was, he was going to rebel from anybody, simply because that was just in his nature. Like, he was rebellious against his mom. Like, he fought back against everything she was saying in the first movie. He talked back to Watto, even though Watto would, like, there's in some canon where, like, Watto would smack him around and stuff. So, like, he was being abused by his owner, his slave owner. And then he fucking, like, he gets picked up and goes to this like weird cult thing. It's not he's gonna rebel. Like his ultimate goal is always gonna be, I'm gonna get strong enough to go help my mom. That's always his motivation until the beginning of Attack of the Clones, and the loyalty becomes then divided between his mom and Padme. I think that the Force in itself was looking for balance at the time that Anakin was like born, because the Force seeks balance, as the Jedi said, and there was hundreds of thousands of Jedi, probably tens of thousands, not hundreds of thousands, but tens of thousands of Jedi, like across the galaxy, and I think, yeah, two Sith and a handful of, like, for lack of a better term, like acolytes. They were, assassins. They were pawns essentially. But Palpatine kept himself and one, in his own way, still following the rule of two set out by Bane, but also like, rebelling against it and doing his own thing. Again, I think that Anakin was destined to turn to the dark side simply because of his rebellious nature. It's just in his nature to do bad, to do not necessarily do bad, but do the anti. If he had been left, not necessarily left in like slavery, that's fucked up, but if he had just been like, hey, this kid's, if Mace Windu and Yoda hadn't been so egotistical and had said, hey, this kid's not Jedi material, but we appreciate what you're trying to do, Qui-Gon, like, maybe chill out, and then they just put him on fucking Coruscant and brought his mom with him, and then just be like, hey, we're just gonna check in on this kid. He's not a Jedi, but he's got some power, and he's a little bit of a loose cannon. Instead of just like, they were either gonna reject him. They were gonna reject him, and then Qui-Gon stepped up and was like, no, I can take him on. Obi-Wan's ready, yada yada. Obi-Wan was not ready. You could see it on his face. Like I don't know. I do know. I have a lot of opinions, but that's my argument for the Force intervening and you know, making destiny a thing rather than, you know, Anakin could have had a better shot if he had had a different master. I don't think it mattered. I don't think it mattered. The biggest thing that mattered was the only person to see truly who Anakin was Qui-Gon and Palpatine. The difference was Qui-Gon assumed, maybe he didn't, he just knew what balance was, bring balance to the Force, but a lot of the Jedi thought balance to the Force means destroying the Sith, but, you know, it's that balance is not all light. A balance is light and dark. There is no dark without the light, and without light, darkness is void. It's I don't know. We're getting philosophical over here. But I mean, that is, I think, the magic of the prequels, of that story. Even episode 1 included, like, as shitty as some of the acting and the CGI choices were, like, it was still a really good story, in my opinion, and I thought that the philosophy behind what Anakin's journey is, like Anakin and Palpatine's journey specifically, and also knowing a lot about Palpatine's backstory does fill in a lot of gaps, but there's you know, I do wish that I could, like, hit a switch and turn off, like, certain bits of knowledge about, like, outside lore, as I do, because, like, there's so much in canon for me that I have to double check and be like, well, is that still in canon, or is that, you know, expanded universe? Is that Legends? But at the same time, what the fuck? I was just there, and now somebody wants to fucking... Did you drop? Where are you? Anyway, I think that ObiWan training Anakin was the best shot that he had at turning out normal without his mom. The best situation for Anakin, like, for the Jedi and probably the whole of the universe, was for him to be put back with his mother in some capacity, whether it be, you know, him growing up for a while and then going back and getting her, being, like, left alone, or sent back even to Tatooine as a freed person. He could do a lot with that. Or there's somebody putting on armor. Sounded like. Damn it. Fuck you. I think that the prequels do a good job at showing the broad strokes of everything and how it all happened. It feels very much like that's what the prequels feel like. And then there's a lot of that, like novels and the Clone Wars, the show, and the TV series. Again, like if you have any sort of care about the prequels, but you still have that thing of like, man, I just wish these stories were like a little more rich. I wish these things that were actually like felt like they mattered. Just try and push past the hurdle of the animation and watch Clone Wars, because it makes things make a lot more sense. And George Lucas was involved with that, so a lot of his stories that he wanted to tell are told, but in a way that's actually comprehensible and digestible, because while it's not necessary, I would say it's not a kid's show. It would fall into more of like young adult anime kind of style, where it's like, hey, some episodes are going to be zany and some episodes are going to be really heavy and yeah. But if you can get past that hurdle of the animation, there's so many good stories to be told. And also there's even like essentials lists where you don't have to watch all of the you don't have to watch every single episode, because there are, like a lot of shows, there are some filler episodes, but also like some episodes that some people consider filler episodes might be, dope for you. Like, I don't know what a lot of those lists look like, because I like to watch it all. That's funny. I hope I completed all the thoughts that I started. I have a bad habit of like spilling off onto like side little tangents, and I hope I got to like where I was, like where I was aiming to get, or if I started something and then I didn't. I don't know anymore. I think the prequels are severely underrated. However, I think they are still pretty bad movies in terms of like and the quality of like how they were made. It's like a really good script got in the hands of a really bad. Oh, what the fuck, I hit it. George, God love you. You are an amazing writer, but I feel like your ideas don't translate when, like, I don't know, somewhere in the process it gets lost. But I don't know, I feel like even still to this day with some of this stuff, like more recently the Boba Fett, the Boba Fett series, I think it's dope. I'm of the younger, I grew up, I'm the prequel generation, but at the same time, like, there are things in it where I'm like, okay, I think I see my age showing a bit, but honestly, I don't know. I feel like I'm a pretty fair critic. I do my best to be even-tempered and equal. But, yeah. Alright, more big spoiler alert. We're just going full spoiler territory for Book of Boba Fett. So when we got to maybe episode 3, it was about the time that he started like putting his team together, and he started with those teenagers, those like modified teenagers, and I was like, oh, okay, these people sound dope. And then they showed them, and I was like, okay, they're like punks, I get it. And then they showed me that one like Doctor Who looking motherfucker, and I was like, oh, I don't know about that design choice for this. Like, I thought these kids had like no money, and they're like barely able to get water, and they have all these really nice clean clothes. It's weird. Anyway, so they're little like the best way I described the look of them, because they didn't have any sort of cohesion besides the fact that they didn't look alike. They looked like a bunch of theater kids going out to the mall, and that's cool, but it didn't really fit the aesthetic of the rest of the world. Like, I felt like they needed to blend them in a little bit, because it even felt like the fabrics that they had on didn't belong on Tatooine. Like, just thematic or in a world building sense. The other thing with that, it's again a texture kind of thing. I did not like the way that those like bikes were designed. I wish the bottoms of them weren't so flared out, because it makes it kind of look like a Vespa or a scooter like that, rather than like a swoop, like a swoop bike. And I feel like if you had just, or even made it like a quad, like a four-wheeler, and done like 4 repulsors, like 4 circular repulsors, as opposed to a single like jet ski boat bottom kind of design. Am I close to the zone? There's no zone. But that the shape, and then the last thing is just the coloring of them. They were so shiny, and none of them were the same color. It's fine if you want them to be different and have some like uniqueness to it, but again, where are these kids getting the access to all of these like nice paints and stuff? Like, again, go back to the prequels. Think about what Anakin's pod racer looked like. Yeah, I mean, I know, again, he was a slave, but he was a mechanic. Like, he fucking like built his shit. If anybody knew how to make cheap paint, it was gonna be him. So, and he didn't have it. So like, it just, to me, the shiny, like all the different colors, like, it'd be cool if we were on a different planet. If we were on Coruscant, those kids wouldn't have stuck out at all. They would have been so dope on Coruscant, but we're not there. We're on Tatooine. They felt like weird little transplants. Some hoods, some more like earth tones on their like bikes, and then the Doctor Who looking guy just needed a complete rework. And then yeah, I feel like that's it for me in terms of like pacing, all that stuff. You know, up to episode 3, I was really, really good. And then episode 4 came along, and then suddenly it's not Book of Boba Fett anymore, and we're just like, it's not a Boba Fett show. And maybe, like, I understand that they, at the end of season 2 of Mando, they said, hey, we're gonna, or it was, Mandalorian will return in the Book of Boba Fett. I thought that meant new series focusing on Boba, and then, you know, a little bit of cameo. I did not expect, like, a continuation of the Mandalorian story inside of the Boba Fett show. Like, I don't love it simply because of the title of the show. If we were doing that, we should have called it The Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett. Like, not even Mandalorian Season 3, Mandalorian The Book of Boba Fett. It should have been in there some way. And, like, I know that he had to come back. And even that one episode, I was like, oh, okay, dope. We got, like, a whole ass episode, and then we'll probably get, like, you know, some hints of him here and there. But then episode 5 came along, and it was, like, still all about him. And I was like, fuck. Like, is it just his show now? And that's fine. I love Mando. It's dope. But, like, I'm here for Boba Fett, and he's not really doing much of, like, I mean, he's doing a lot of cool shit, and I love all the stuff with, like, the huts. But then they just, like, nah, we're out. Like, what the fuck? It was weird. I would have liked to see stuff with those twins more. But they were probably just like a setup for a comic book or some shit. That's pretty dope. I don't want a mortar launcher though. I think if they do Book of Boba Fett #2, or however they continue this series, I think they need to reevaluate, for one, like, what is their tone? Like, I get it's supposed to be like heavy and like kind of brutal, like the stuff with the dark saber when he's just like literally he's butchering people in a butcher shop. That was fucking crazy. It's probably, you know, that's definitely the most brutal thing we've ever seen in like a canon Star Wars thing. Maybe Anakin taking off Dooku's head, but like I don't know. That shit was next level. And at the same time, like, it feels like there's such low stakes. Like, it doesn't feel like there's much stakes to anything. And I find myself being like, hey, I just want, like, I want Boba Fett to be doing, like, Jabba shit. And, like, when are we gonna have him, like, start, like, dealing with stuff from his past? We keep having him, like, having flashes of his like, dad and shit like that. Is that all it is just to appease us and give us those little moments? Because if so, I don't want it. If you're gonna... I just really, really hope that it pays off. And I get it, you know, Mando paid off pretty well, and I think they can do the same thing. But I'm not gonna lie, when they switched it up and went full Mando for these past couple episodes, I don't know, it hit me weird, and I was like, okay, I get it, I love him, but let's go. I'm here for the Fett man. I heard shooting over here. What the fuck? I'm also like, can we just talk about how dope it was to see Danny Trejo in the Star Wars thing? And as a Rancor handler, like trainer, no better job. Like no better role for him to play in. He's amazing. You know, he's Danny Trejo. All right, how close did we get? He's so far away. Not that far, but pretty far. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely go watch it. And I don't know why Star Wars fans have such a tendency to want to hate on everything, especially like newer stuff. There's this propensity amongst the older generation, the people who watched the original trilogy when they were younger, that anything new that comes out is just like, nah, it's garbage, don't want it. And while I understand like not liking the newer stuff, what I need is for people to give me a better reason for not liking it, other than 1,000 different ways of saying it doesn't make me feel like when I watched Star Wars as a child. Like, that's not a good argument, because you're not gonna have that again. You're grown. Like, if you're gonna be mad at it, be mad at it, but don't spew out hatred towards something simply because it's not meant for you anymore. When it came out in the 70s, and it came out in 77, it was meant for you then. It was because you were a kid when it came out in 1999. It was meant for me because I was a kid. When it came out in 2015, I don't remember when Force Awakens came out. It wasn't meant for me because I wasn't a kid. It was meant for my nephew. And no matter what, it's what Star Wars is always gonna be, at least in that sense of those big grand movies. While you have to understand, media is just always gonna change with the times. And like, I don't think that Boba Fett is great. I can see why a lot of like younger kids would really like it. Means more kids are gonna be watching Star Wars for a long time, and that's awesome because it means I have somebody to talk to, you know, for years and years and years. I can talk to people about Star Wars for as long as they keep making it, and I think that's dope.